Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. And as we all remember, Fridays on this channel are for donut shop reviews. Now, for the last few weeks, I've been going to some kind of unique local donut places. In my opinion, if you want a donut and you want it to be good, that's where you have to go. Although, I've had a lot of people asking me to do some of these kind of national chains, and I'm going to have to sprinkle those in from time to time. I was on a walk with my wife last night and kind of came to the conclusion that I better start knocking some of those out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find one of the local, interesting, good donut places, and then every other episode or so, I'm going to start putting in one of these national chains, because that way, if I save them all for the end, that's just not fun. So today's coffee shop or donut review is going to be Tim Hortons. I think everybody knows Tim Hortons. It's your favorite Canadian bakery, if you want to call it that. One thing that's funny, one of my friends, well, I don't know if she's a friend, it's somebody that I used to know, a few years back on Facebook, took a picture of a police car at a Tim Hortons and put the comment something about cops eating donuts. And my response to her, which got her to block me on Facebook, is that it's funny that when I think of Tim Hortons, I think coffee. When you think of Tim Hortons, you think donuts. Which one of us has a problem? She didn't like that response very well, and it got me unfriended and blocked. But regardless, when I think of Tim Hortons, I don't think of donuts. I think of coffee and perhaps breakfast sandwiches, maybe bagels. I don't think I've ever gone there for lunch, and I don't even know if they're open for dinner. So, and with this video, I want to give a shout out to my friend Paige. Paige is my favorite Canadian. I'm just going to leave it at that. So, let's get this thing underway. Oh, well, we'll get to that in a moment. So, as per usual, the first donut is always a glazed donut. Let's see, here is a picture of said glazed donut at Tim Hortons. I don't know how fresh this thing is. The donut feels nice and fresh, but the glaze doesn't look very fresh. I don't know. So there's the center of it. Here's the bottom, which we all know that the bottom has a little bit of chocolate that rubbed off from my cream-filled donut that we're going to have next. I'll call this a medium to small, or smaller than medium. Not quite small, but not quite medium either. So, without further ado, here is the Tim Hortons glazed donut, which, before I came here today, I thought I was going to one bite this thing, but I don't think that's possible. So, here we go. So, right off the bat, I gotta let you know that I'm a little bit surprised by this. This is not a bad glazed donut, not bad at all. It's got that really, I'm being honest, folks, even though this is a lesson on implicit biases, because prior to taking my first bite of this donut, I had an implicit bias against this donut. But after taking a bite, it's actually not bad. I think this is better than the one I had last week at Daylight Donuts. Is that where I went last week? I believe so. It's chewy. It's got that Ryzen, like, yeast flavor. The glaze on it, I'll knock some points off of it. It'll focus here. It is kind of flaking off a little bit, which I'm not a fan of. And so maybe it's a little bit too thick, but I don't know. Nice and chewy. I think the chewiness and like the yeast flavor, those are probably the two most important things in a glazed donut, if you ask me. And this has them both. So, really surprising me, I'm going to give this a solid, I'm going to give it a solid 8. That was a pretty good glazed donut, which really surprised me, and I know it's going to surprise my friend Paige because we have had this very same conversation. So next on to the cream stick or Long John. Unfortunately, Tim Hortons is not diverse, and all of their donuts are round. So this is, they called it a vanilla cream. I could have gone for a Boston cream, which if I had a choice between the two, I like the Boston cream better. But for the sake of consistency with my donut reviews, I went with the vanilla cream because that is the kind of cream filling that's in a donut usually, or in the cream sticks usually. So here's the little cream hole. It's only on one side, which is kind of to be expected. It's round because I'm pretty sure these all come in frozen and baked. So it is what it is. I like just having chocolate on top. I don't care for the vanilla on top. Who knows? All right, let's give this a go. And I don't know, this is gonna get in my mustache. Oh yeah. So I definitely have chocolate in my mustache. You probably can't see it, but I can feel it. Kind of like when you have something in your eye and nobody can see it, but you know it's there. That's kind of what a mustache is like. It's like my antennae, like antennae on like an ant or something. Don't they use those like as feelers? That's what I'm going with today. Or whiskers on a cat. I used to have cats, and I used to screw with them by just reaching up and like tickling like one whisker. And you watch their nose like every time you touch their whiskers. I don't have cats anymore, but if I had cats today, that's the only reason I'd have a cat, so I can tickle their whiskers. I don't know if that's an appropriate way to talk about cats. So anyway, here's the cream in the donut. It only kind of goes on like half because it's not a cream stick. This is by far the inferior way to make a cream filled donut, unless you're gonna put the piping in and then kind of turn it and fill the whole thing up. But they did not do that here. So anyway. I don't know if I talked about the flavor at all yet. I don't really have a process to making these videos. It's very unscientific. Unscientific if you haven't figured that out. But the flavor is okay. If you gave me that donut, I would be like, all right, thank you. I wouldn't turn it down. But it's not like anything too special. One thing I will say is that the filling is like got a really, really strong vanilla flavor, which is fine. It's just not. It's not what I like. It's not what I kind of go for. It's not traditional. Let's put it that way. So we're going to dock points for being round. Going to dock points for having the stuff on top that's not chocolate. And then we're going to dock points for only being half full of cream. But it wasn't bad. It's just not something that like, I mean, you probably can't see it right now, but I try to stay in shape and I try to watch what I eat. So when I'm having a donut, I want to make sure that it's worth kind of ruining my diet over. And I would say that donut was not worth ruining my diet over. So as far as the cream-filled donut goes, I'm going to give that one a 5. So for today's donut review of Tim Hortons, we gave the glazed donut a solid 8, which is pretty good. If I wanted to go back through there again, I'd get glazed donuts all day. And their Timbits, which is like a little cup of donut holes, you can't go wrong with that. If you're getting a cup of coffee, getting some Timbits, there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, so glazed donut, give it a solid 8. The vanilla cream, I'm going to give that a solid 5. I think anything below a 5, I think you have to really screw it up. Because kind of like pizza, even a bad donut is still a pretty good donut. It's just that not all donuts are worth ruining your diet over. So I would classify Tim Hortons as okay, not necessarily worth ruining the diet over. But in a moment of weakness, if I was ordering a cup of coffee, I might be tempted to get one of their donuts. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you learned something. I will talk to you soon.